What's going on, friends? Harley-Davidson is no stranger to getting a little help from the government. Harley-Davidson also is no stranger to getting all kinds of different incentives and maybe some little dealership gimmicks to get you in the dealers to try to buy a new Harley-Davidson motorcycle. But guys, right now, Harley-Davidson has something going for them that I don't think anybody saw coming. And if you're actually looking at trying to buy a new Harley-Davidson, now just might be the time. As y'all remember, Harley-Davidson at one point in time needed a little help from the government to kind of get things rolling again. Well, things at Harley-Davidson, as we all know, haven't been, well, let's say stellar. Bikes haven't exactly been flying off of showroom floors here lately. In fact, motorcycle sales have been pretty slow all across the board, and not just with Harley-Davidson. But honestly, I gotta say, this is probably the best thing that's happened to the motorcycle industry in quite a long time, and especially for Harley-Davidson right now. Did you ever think there would be a time where you could buy a brand new motorcycle and actually, if you finance it, you could write off the interest on your taxes? Yeah, you heard that right. But as with anything, there is a catch. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Yes, you heard that right. If you go out and buy a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle and you finance it, you can actually write off the interest charges on your taxes. Now, depending on your tax situation, this may or may not be a good time for you to buy a brand new motorcycle, but if you're able to actually take advantage of this and use it to your advantage to lower your tax bill or even get some money back on your taxes, this just might be a win-win for you. Now, the caveat is that it has to be an American-made motorcycle that is built in America. Now, that does cover most Harley-Davidsons that are made in America, as well as Indian motorcycles as well, and some of the other little offshoot brands out there like Livewire and some of the other little custom motorcycle manufacturers out there. You can actually write off the interest on your taxes that is incurred through your loan. Now, the cool part about this is that this is retroactive for 2025 back to January. So if you've already bought a new Harley-Davidson or any American-made motorcycle for that matter, you can actually write that off on your taxes. Now, of course, disclaimer here, I'm not a CPA. I really don't know anything about taxes. I take mine to a guy and he tells me what I owe and I just go that route. So, just disclaimer, always consult with a tax professional. But the other side of this is that this is only good until 2028. But if you're in the market for a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle, actually getting some money back on it through your taxes, this is really kind of a win-win. Now, it's capped off. If you're filing single, it's $100,000, and if you're filing jointly, married to somebody, this is going to be upwards of about $200,000. So make sure you're below those thresholds before you actually go out and buy a bike and then find out you can't write it off on your taxes. Now, as I mentioned, there was another little stipulation here, and that's that it has to be built in America. And that pretty much leaves out the Revolution Max powered bikes. So if you were looking at a Nightster or a Sportster S or a Pan America, these aren't going to be included on that deal. As we all know, they are going to be built overseas and shipped back, so that doesn't really count under the whole built in America idea. Now, as I mentioned, the same deal applies even if you wanted an Indian, but who wants an Indian? You definitely want a Harley-Davidson. Now, the other thing to keep in mind too is that there is a cap on what you could actually write off on your interest payments. So the cap is $10,000. Now, I'm not a numbers guy. I was actually pretty bad at math, but if you're incurring $10,000 of interest a year on a brand new Harley-Davidson motorcycle, there is something seriously wrong there, and you might want to really take a look at your financial status. Just my opinion. Now, the other thing is that this applies to brand new motorcycles only. So only brand new Harley-Davidsons. You're not going to be able to go out and buy a slightly used one and still get incentive to actually write that off on your taxes. Now, if the bike is sold as new, definitely going to be able to do that. I never thought I would see the day that you could actually go out and buy a brand new motorcycle and actually be able to use it for tax purposes. Well, legally anyhow, without some shifty work and a CPA that's maybe not afraid to go to prison for a little while. Now, the other stipulation is that the motorcycle that you buy, other than being American made and assembled in America, it has to be for personal use only. So you can't buy this for business purposes and then try to write it off on your taxes. That's not going to fly. Like, as I mentioned, unless you have a CPA that's probably willing to go to prison. I'm sure there's a lot of ways around that and things you could do to get away with that, but you didn't hear that here. So guys, I don't know about you, but it seriously seems like Harley-Davidson history is starting to repeat itself. We go back in the 80s when the government kind of bailed out Harley-Davidson and threw them a bone when they started out with, they had about, what, a 4% tariff on imported motorcycles, and then they raised it to 45% on anything over 700 cc's, which really helped Harley-Davidson out. It slowed the influx of metric and foreign motorcycles and allowed Harley-Davidson to get back on their feet. Not to mention a lot of the other things that are going on with Harley-Davidson right now that are really kind of reminiscent somewhat of the AMF years, with the quality kind of going down and things kind of falling off a little bit with sales. It's a little interesting, but if you're willing to pop for a new Harley-Davidson, this is probably the best incentive or discount that you could possibly have, outside of the other buy a Sportster, ride it for a year, come back, trade it in, and get full value on the Sportster towards the purchase of a new big twin motorcycle. That was another one that Harley-Davidson used to use that came from the company down. And now I know the dealers out there usually have their own little thing going on, but it's really hard to beat a deal like that when the federal government steps in to help the American motorcycle market. I know it may not be much, but if you are paying kind of a high interest rate on your Harley-Davidson, especially a newer one, this would definitely help you out on your taxes. As I mentioned, this could reduce your tax bill or maybe even eliminate it if you're used to getting a little money back every year. You get some more back. So it's almost kind of like getting paid to ride your Harley-Davidson. Not really, you're still making a payment, but it sure makes you feel good at least to get a little money back during tax season. But anyhow, guys, as I mentioned, the deal is good through 2028. So you might want to hold off and wait and see what happens when it comes to the new CEO when he takes over next month. And right now, there might be a lot of 2025 models still sitting on showroom floors that might be sold at a discount that are still new come the first of next year. So my thought is you might want to hold off just a little bit and see what happens next year, and then see what brand new motorcycles, the 2025 leftovers, you can find when the 26 models come out. Buy your brand new Harley-Davidson, take advantage of this tax incentive, and save yourself a little money and get a little money back every year if you're financing the motorcycle. Now, of course, if you're paying cash, you really got no worries, especially if you could go out and pay cash for a brand new Harley-Davidson at these higher prices they're selling at today. But anyhow, guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you think this is a good deal? Bad deal? I never thought I would see the day where a brand new Harley-Davidson, you could write off the interest accrued on your loan payments off on your taxes. But guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But yeah, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.